Hello, hello, hello. Hi, everyone. Corrie here. Just coming in to do actually going to be quick live today. So I will just wait a moment for a few people to join and see who we actually have coming in here. It says I am live on YouTube. So the last big live we did not make it to YouTube, and I'm sorry for that. I will try to post that one over there though. So I just wanted to quickly stop in. Happy Samhain, happy Halloween. Um, and today is a day when, our veil is, that space between us and that veil, us and spirit world is even thinner than ever. We very much are always connected to spirit world. We are spirit ourselves. So, hello, Tracy. I'm just making sure I'm all on live on Facebook and on YouTube. So I know I'm on YouTube because I just got a notification. So welcome. So I'm not going to wait for a lot of people. I noticed there's a few watching, and I wanted to just come in and do a quick energy update for today, for October 31st, 2022, and where we are. Of course, being this day and where things are and how things are aligning, you may be feeling, you may be observing, you may be witnessing your own kind of connection to spirit, to your own spirit, to your own essence. You may be feeling this energy of extra energy within yourself today, a little bit extra alive today. You may be feeling that. Hello, Michelle. Um, and so there is a lot of energy. Michelle, did you get the message I sent you this morning? Did I send you something this morning? No, shit. Who did I send that to? Oh, I so meant to send you something this morning, Michelle. I'll send it again after. So, and so yeah, it's just so we have a yeah, okay. I yeah, no, I meant to send you something. I didn't send a picture. I forgot the picture. Okay. So, today's energy. You may be feeling this like supercharged energy. Yesterday, I want to explain yesterday a little bit, and you may be feeling it a little bit today. Um, Yesterday, if you had like an supersonic over energy of either like anger or feeling like you just couldn't keep still, it was so crazy yesterday. The energy, there was so much energy, but it is like the energy of that which is leaving us, that which is ending. Today we have, I think it's today or sometime in these coming days, because I feel it. It's, we have this, um, the ruling planet of Aries, which is Mars, and Mars is the planet of war, right? And so it is, it is going into retrograde, or it's already in I think it's already in retrograde. But it has us at war with ourselves sometimes, kind of battling with our own energy, battling with ourselves. And so you may have been in some challenging energy. So I wanted to bring in the frenzy of the fairies today. And so as we are in Happy Samhain Day as well, and so it is a day of, um, this would be like the witch's new year day. That's what it would be like. And so or what it is, not what it would be like, what it is. I can't even talk today. I went for a massage and now I'm all like loopity loo on top of all the rest of my neurological thing. I'm very loopity loo, but I wanted to do this because I'm going trick or treating with my grandchildren. And so this is my only opportunity today. So, and I am using the fairy forest cards. And so, yeah, I wanted to bring in the fairy forest cards. I wanted to bring in the fae energy. We have a lot of this, and fae energy can really, truly be also trickster energy. And I want to talk a little bit about trickster energy as well. So, Michelle, are you working or are you off? What are you doing? Are you home? Because if you're home, you could pop on. Seems you're over there chatting away. So if you're home and you want to come on, I think you can just use that. You can just use that same link I sent you the last time. If you're there. Oh, I think you can. I'm just checking. Sorry, guys. I know I'm on the fly here, but um, oh, you're picking up Mia. Okay. So I'm like, you can come on. Since you're over there, since you're over there commenting away. Yes, I love this deck too. So we have a lot of energy that feels like it's kind of tricking with us, it's playing with us, and it's so really truly learning how to acknowledge, that not everything that you're feeling is you. Not everything that you're feeling belongs to you. Not everything that you have happening around you is 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 your energy. We're always existing in energy, and we have a lot of energy that's happening. So for myself yesterday, there was some things that were arising for me, and I am going to discuss this a little bit today. um and so I want to start with the cards though. So we have this energy today that's coming in of the Fae. We have some kind of that mystical. When we need that energy from the middle world. The middle world is that place that you don't just get to enter, right? It's that space of where that little people exist. It's where the Fae, it's where the whole mystical, magical world exists. It's the world within the world. And as is spirit world is the world within worlds, right? It's the world that is so close to us and so connected to us, but we believe ourselves to be separate from. We believe ourselves not to be of spirit. It's like we get so caught up in that we're human, we're human, we're human, that we forget that the whole essence that makes up the essence of your sparkly shine, your authentic identity, like who you are in your personality, like not your persona, not what you represent, what you show to the world, the mask you wear. So not the mask you wear to walk out into the world, or the roles that you play, but your personality, that sensitive self that that may be as annoying as shit, but you just can't get rid of no matter how many things you work on. So you can work on all the things you want, but there's parts of you that are just staying, they're just you. Well, they are the aspects of who we are. And those pieces and parts of us are always here, right? And you often hear me speak about that. And you often hear me speak about the parts that you think are you are not really you, because everything we think into creation is not us. But the pieces we arrived as, when someone describes you as a child, and they say, oh my God, she was so this, or he was so that. And it's like everything that is like still following and tracking you through. Like if you were mischievous, if you were curious, if you were what they called nosy, I call curious. If you were stubborn, I call persistent, right? If you had that persistent energy, if you had that strong sense of self, then you know that those are parts of you that stay with you. They are a part of how, that is the thumbprint. That's how people remember us. And so those aspects of ourself connect into the spirit. So between the soul and your human, that soul self that has this identity that keeps following through, that is the aspects of yourself that are going to stay with you. And so those that you loved, they had that as well, right? And they had it. And so sometimes, when you're walking past something in your house and you all of a sudden just get this like giddy feeling, or you start to laugh about something, you're like, I don't know what that was, but I just remembered so and so in my life. Or I just got that memory of so and so. Or you're doing something and it's just like somebody else did it, like their movement, their body movements. Those are the pieces of how spirit tells us they're with us. That's how loved ones tells us they're with us. Now, there is a lot of kind of trickstery kind of energy out there, but we also have trickster energy within ourselves that we literally can trick and fool ourselves into believing that that's not real, that's not happening. And because we have been programmed and conditioned to either fear or to not believe. And when we have been so programmed to not believe, that's crazy, that's silly, that's not real, that's not true, then you will quickly start to shut down things. Or when you see something go past and you're like, oh my God, and you jump back from it. Well, you just disconnect it from that energy, from that place. That spirit world is like that close to us because we are also spirit. So if you're fearful of ghosts, you're fearful of yourself. And I always say that. I'm like, if you are fearful of ghost, of the spirit world, then you are afraid of you. And that's why you avoid you. That's why you don't fully awaken everything that's within you. That's why you don't live in your magic. That's why you live in everything that you create, and That's why we just exist. That's why our suffering owns us. That's why our limitations own us, is because we stop believing we are so much more than we see, right? It's like that vision that you see in the mirror of your face, of your body, of your flesh. You're so much more than that flesh. And so that part of us, when it leaves, but the essence of us lives on. So a part of my anger yesterday that I was feeling, and I mean I was raging angry, and when all of a sudden I went to open something, and the face of someone who was so dear to me, so dear to my heart, popped up, and I've not been able to properly sit in my own grief with that situation. And I got angry. And for the first time, I allowed myself to be angry, and I didn't project it out anywhere. I didn't get caught up in any stories. I went about my work and doing things that I was doing. But I realized that a lot of that anger that I was carrying was not actually mine. It was the anger coming through from spirit world, who was talking to me for days and really truly just like screaming at me and like, Corrie, that's fucking bullshit. That's fucking bullshit. And it's like, and all of this energy that was coming through was spirit world, and it was spirit world connecting to me. But because I wasn't associating to work or connecting, I was not working at the time, is I was trying to avoid this person, this energy that was coming through. And so, sometimes we don't realize that what you're feeling is, sometimes you got to sit with it and let it kind of explain to you, let it tell you what that is, because there's such a connection to our loved ones on the other side, to those who impacted our lives, to those who influenced our lives, that there's so many things that are happening. And I literally told that person, don't, I'm too angry at you. Don't come to me. Don't come to me. I am still too angry at you. I don't want to talk to you. And I have been like that for a long time now. I'm like, don't come to me. I am too angry. I don't want to talk to you. I'm not ready to speak to you. You might be in your place of where you've got all of that gone. I don't. I'm on earth and I'm still angry at you. And that's been ongoing for me. And so the card that we pulled for today is the Seelie Queen, glamorous, opalescent. Um, I can't see what else it says on the card. Hubris. And so she's wearing like her red, her amber. She's got her beautiful, ambery color hair. She's got this presence. Her skin is like this opalescent, iridescent see-through. And so, it's like, it's so easy for us to see through sometimes other people's fear stories, but it's not very easy for us to see through our own, because we give ourselves the mask. We give ourselves that such a protection. It's like, I'm not like that. And it's easy for us to see something in others that we can't see in ourselves. And that's how we end up with enemies. That's how we end up accusing or assuming something about somebody else and not seeing things within ourselves, including the good. So the good, bad, and ugly. It is easy for us to see the good, bad, and the ugly in somebody else. It's not so easy to see the good, bad, and the ugly within self, right? So when that becomes the reflection. And so a part of this journey that I say I'm on right now is that I'm starting to step into the archetype of my queen, and not queenie, because that was kind of what I've heard my whole life. Oh, you're such a queenie, but it's not the negative aspect of that. And it's not the fairy tales. It's not the Disney stories. It is not that. It's the essence of being in the leadership role of taking the lead in your life, of saying that I have a lead role in my life, that I am valuable, that I matter, that I am important. And it's important for us to really let die the stories that don't align to that within our lives. We set ourselves free. And so she's, in her glamour, in her essence, she's looking in. And so she may look, because she's pale, like she's so pale, maybe she looks kind of like she's kind of vampire-y kind of energy, right? She kind of has that look. And so sometimes beauty can also be deceiving, right? Beauty can be a deceiving thing. It can be that sense of, people often will associate beauty to, if somebody is beautiful, there's got to be something else wrong with them, right? If somebody takes care of themselves, if they exude that amount of beauty, it's like you can't trust them, because we have been fed narratives and stories, and because we fear the beauty in somebody else because we can't see the beauty within us. And it's just so many repeat narratives and so many stories that come out. But this unseelie, and where I'm getting her and what I'm getting from her, she is a 20. So she's telling us, how many times do we have to keep repeating stories? How many times do we have to keep cycling around old energy before we're willing to set ourselves free? Before we're able to move beyond, being that, repeating that ugly story to ourselves, that same energy. How many times do we have to stay in fear and entrapment and keep ourselves there, or hold somebody else to there before we set things free? And so there is this freeing energy, and to also to not be tricked or fooled by something. So Jezebel, let me get to Jezebel energy. So Jezebel energy, and I have been speaking about Jezebel ever since, God knows when. But I keep talking about Jezebel. And Jezebel is imposter light. It is that beauty, that thought, that idea that, when someone comes in with something that's too good to be true, it's like eat the apple. It's like the dangling carrot in front of you. It is the thing that distracts you from your path, your journey. Often see it in, it's like, we're doing this beautiful work. We're here to just be of service, to help, to do beautiful things. But then all of a sudden there's an opportunity of, oh my God, if one person just says to you, oh my God, you're so good that you could be this or you could be that. That idea may take you on a catapult of chasing that one thought that somebody said to you. And then that one thought takes you away from the things that was your choice, that you were choosing, that were aligning you to whatever your destiny is supposed to be. But the moment you start chasing that light over there, that false light, the moment that what you're doing is just not enough, and you just like, I want to be something, I want to chase something, and so you go seek out 1,000 different things all over here, and everything feels like a struggle. Everything feels like a lot of work. Everything feels like it's like pulling, and it's because it wasn't your path. It wasn't the direction. And when you come back to you and you show yourself grace, it's amazing the journey that we take. And we do it in the simplest of ways. It could be the same thing as being in a relationship, and you're happy in a relationship and everything is going great. But then all of a sudden, something over here comes in and tells you the one little thing that you wanted to hear your whole life. And that's all you picked up on. You didn't look at any of the other scenario, any of the other things that were happening. You didn't look at the person. All you seen was the one person. They knew what it was that you wanted to hear. You heard it and you keep hearing it from them, and they keep telling you that. And then that's all you can see, and you want that. But then all of this that you had over here, then all of a sudden that one day you were happy with, and then all of a sudden you're like, I'm not happy no more. And then you'll find every problem over here and every reason why this shouldn't be in your life, because this one thing right here, that's like Jezebel. That's the trickster energy. And then in months to follow, you find out, that's not so for me. This is not a good situation. And then you see all the unraveling of all the truth, right? All of a new truth, all of what that person really is. And then you start saying, what I had over here was probably not that bad, because the grass is not always greener on the other side, right? And so that's the message that's coming in, is to be very aware of all of those things that take us from there. Be very aware of your own emotions and what is yours. Being in check with, is this my truth today? It may be something of the past that keeps raveling up and around, right? There's just so many things that are just present and showing up. And so when we really want to see, we have to start to unsee. We have to start to unlearn. We have to start to break up with all previous versions of ourselves, all of those words that have such a hold on you, all those things, because once you hear it, you can't unhear it. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. Once you do it. So if someone puts that little bug in your ear that just says to you over here, then you start to really think about it. But if you instantly say to that energy, return to sender. Return to sender. I'm always returning to sender because this is some of the energies. There's so many things in energy. Like it's crazy how many energetic pulls. So we know we have energy vampires, and energy vampires, I can give you a list of different types of energy vampires. When you work in energy healing, we work with energy vampire work, and we look at where we get that energy, where our energy kind of pulling away from us, right? Pulling away from us. So there's so many things. I'm not doing a card today, Vera. I'm sorry. I'm just doing this quickly. I'm just coming in to do our readings for this week because I'm going trick-or-treating with my granddaughters. Hello, everyone who's here. I know it's a midday. So we had Unseelie Queen, and then we have, see, this one reminds me of, oh, she's always like the the white, that's the white queen or whatever, just that innocence or that sparkly beauty of her in so many ways. When I look at her, when I see this card, I love this card. And her name is Athe- Atheling. Atheling. I can't see. I really can't see, guys. um she is nobility, grace, and gratitude. And she is really looking in, right? She's looking into. Now, both of these are equally as beautiful, equally as gracious. This one is more, that more sense of being earthly, grounded. She's got fire in her eyes. She's got a passion. She's got a desire to push forward. This one is grace. This is divine. So this is our ability to use the higher sense of our ego, our healthy sense of our ego, knowing who we are, knowing what we are, and that we're worthy. This card really represents divine consciousness, divine awareness, allowing ourselves to show ourselves grace, to show ourselves the mercy, to know that sometimes we don't have the strength and the power within us to move the mountains that need to be moved, the obstacles, the challenges, but there is something within us, and there's a power within us, and it's our ability to be able to ask, to know that sometimes it's not about the effort that we can put in, it's about the effort that we can put into getting out of the way, by saying, this is too much for me. I need divine intervention. I need divine help. I need something that is greater than me. And that's where our loved ones, that's where the ancestors, that's where the angelic realm, the holy realm, the beings, all of that world is there to assist us. It's there to help us. And sometimes it is not about, that whole, when I didn't have the strength to sometimes do thing, and you'd ask for help. You say, like, I really need some assistance. Oh, you're what, Queenie? You're too good to do that? No, it's not about being too good. It's about I'm not capable, or I don't have the capacity to do it. It's just something that I'm not capable of doing, or I just know somebody can do it, you know, probably better than I can do it, and that's okay. And so learning to ask for help. So that's earthly. So then asking outside of earthly, asking the divine. And so this sense of grace is saying that you're allowing yourself a period to sit, to allow this light to step in, to allow the power of divine intervention and divine grace to step in and step through us, to work through us, to bring forth whatever we need, including helping us heal. And so as we learn how to heal, people say, oh, but I keep trying. I keep trying. I said, there's your problem. Stop trying. Stop trying so hard to force yourself, because that is one of the greatest holds that we have over us. We're still trying to be in control of what is happening for us. And so this is a time, as we're moving forward into a new energy, into a new thing, is, the greatest thing is with asking is then the acknowledgement of thank you. There's not a morning that I don't wake up and I don't say thank you. Thank you. I say thank you. And that's my morning. That's the very first thing I do in the morning is thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. Here we go again. We can start again. We can try again. We can do again. And so not everything was meant to be done yesterday. Not everything was meant to be done in the first 51 years of my life. Not everything was meant to be done in the before days of your life. Maybe you weren't meant to be everything in the first part of your life that you thought you were. Maybe you're meant to become the right person to be this next person in your life, to do the things in your life, to acknowledge those things in your life. Maybe you needed time. Maybe it was the time that you needed to go through all of the other experiences to be the person that you needed to be. Who knows? So the more that we are kinder to ourselves, the more that we stop being hard on ourselves, the more that we acknowledge when, if someone calls me Queenie now, I'm like, thank you. I am. I'm trying to be, right? It's like, not, no, I'm not trying anymore. I'm not trying anything. I'm working towards actually allowing to see myself as wearing my own crown, as I am worthy. And in one of the upcoming books, I think in this book, in My Truth of Existing Beyond a Reflection, I speak about putting your crown on and wearing your crown. And then in the next book, or the one after, I really speak about the crown, and it's huge. It's in the Virtue book. And so there's just so many things about our lives that we just don't say thank you. And we also don't ask for help. And so one of the greatest things that we can do is ask for help, to allow other people the opportunity to assist you. Because do you know how many people out there, in spirit world, how many people in this world would love to be able to help you? And the more that you reject opening up your heart, opening up your life, opening up your mind to just say, yes, thank you, thank you. I appreciate that, because when we are so busy even trying to be the one who's always there for everyone else, and you're not allowing yourself to be cared for in every other way, is that you're always closing off to the opportunity that, one of the most gracious things that we can do is to let someone else assist us. Allow somebody else into our space and into our world, to be present with us, to be in our presence because they want to be there. And so there's those things that we do, those places that we acknowledge how shut down we are, how we're closed off, how we're neglecting, how we're not asking for help, or we're not accepting when people are offering that help. That is such a, you know, that 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 impacts other people, right? And so we don't realize sometimes that super independence, and we tell everyone, I'm all good on my own. I don't need anyone else. I'm always there for everyone else, but nobody's there for me. No, it's not that you're there for everyone else and nobody's there for you. It's that you're so busy, needing to be fulfilled, needing to fill yourself up by being there for everyone else, or you think that you're supposed to be there for everyone else, that you're not allowing yourself to sit back, to show yourself that grace and just say, it is okay. I am safe to allow other people to step into my life. I am opening my heart to accepting and to receiving the beautiful divine gifts and blessings that are coming through other people who are working as messengers and servants of the love and the light that is here for us to be given. And that is present everywhere. And it's so easy to shut down. It's so easy to close our hearts. It's so easy to ignore all of that. And so I invite you to really look at the areas of where, in your life, you may be noticing that. You may be doing that. If somebody comes in and you're cooking dinner and someone offers if they can help, and you're like, nope, I got it. I don't like anyone in my kitchen. And I'm guilty of that. I have often done those things too. Instead of just saying, you know what? Yes, you can. There is something you can do for me. And it may not even be in your kitchen. There is something you can do for. Thank you. I'm so thankful that you offered. And with gratitude and grace, I accept. With gratitude and grace, I accept. And that is you accepting a blessing, and that is you blessing somebody else. And then that is a tenfold. Those things become tenfolds. That's how we become that much better at being a better human. Our mission is to become a better human. Someone asks us what my purpose is on earth, just to be a better human. That's it. Just to be a better human than I was the day before. And that's all I keep working towards, is just to be the best human being that I can be, to acknowledge my role, but to always also acknowledge my worth. And that's what we're all here to do. And so do that. live by that and be that everywhere within your life, and free yourself. And I'm just looking over at the comments. You're watching from the ferry, Lisa? I'm good. Yay. Yay, yay, yay. And others are watching from work. Thank you for watching from work. I'm glad you're watching from work, taking a moment for yourself. Um, and Phil, beautiful met, universal synchronization, confirmation, self-awareness, realization, revelation, and re- yeah, revelation, right? Yeah. Good. Glad you're taking notes. Keep taking notes. All right, last card. Last card, last card, last card. Happy Halloween to everyone else who's watching, joining, to anyone who's coming in. Fairy Godmother. We have the Fairy Godmother. Total perfect little cards. I feel like these cards today are absolutely like a maiden. I know they're not, that's not their order, but that's what it feels like to me. So maiden, mother, crone. That's what it feels like to me. And that's where we are. And so we can be going through those different stages within our lives many times over, right? It's like we all have that sense of being a newbie, being a new to something we were innocent to before, that we're uncertain of before. And once we know, once we hear, once we recognize it, once we see it, if we keep repeating, keep redoing it, then we're always going to be in the same thing. Revelation. Godmother, revelation. Ta-da. Right. And so this is discovery and epiphanies, right? And there's so many aha moments and this fairy godmother energy. I remember, so if you got children, close their ears because I'm going to talk a little bit about a story here about a tooth fairy. And I just remember my my daughter losing a tooth one time, and she's, at my house, she's the tooth fairy came, she got her specific amount of money, all those things, all excited, she was so excited. And then her next time the tooth fairy came to her grandmother's house. And when the tooth fairy came to her grandmother's house, the tooth fairy left her tooth in colored water, and she left her the tooth plus left like triple the amount of money. So she's like, the tooth fairy that came out there was much, much better than the tooth fairy that came to this house, because that tooth fairy left so much more, Mom. And I'm like, "You really?" And she's like, yes. So she says, the next tooth, she says, I want the tooth fairy, I want to be out there. And she says, and I'd like to have two teeth. And so every time she'd lose a tooth, she'd have to phone her grandmother, and she would go to her grandmother's house and stay at her grandmother's house, because at her grandmother's house, it was a whole different experience. And the reason why it's a whole different experience is because she had experience in being, once upon a time, already being a mother who had gone through that experience. And now she was in the joy of being a grandmother, when she could go the extra mile, she could do the extra things. It wasn't about competition, it wasn't about who was better. It was about that she had the time, the space, and the opportunity to go the extra mile. She had already experienced all of the other experiences in life. She knew what it was like for the tooth fairy at our house, for my house, to be a single mother tooth fairy that didn't have that much extra to give. So she would create those experiences. Now, if I was in an unhealthy state and a judgmental state, I would have used that as a comparison. I would have been mad. I would have been upset. I would have been saying, no, that's not fair. But in an emotional and spiritual matured state, I could easily step from mother and remember my grandmother, and remember the extra miles that my grandmother would go to keep us, living in beautiful experiences and creating beautiful memories. Because those beautiful memories, those beautiful experiences then help to inspire us. And so there was so many epiphanies in there, and realizations that there were things that I wouldn't be able to understand until I became a grandmother, until I hit that stage. And now I'm in the place to be able to do those for my granddaughter, to be able to give those opportunities to my granddaughter. And so the epiphany of all of that is that sometimes it is not about the time, it's not in my time. It's like, it's not your time. It's not your time to be a specific kind of person. Your time to be that is in the future when you become this person. And so this is kind of those aha moments that we are where we are meant to be, and your invocation is right where you are today. And there's a reason why we're where we are today, and who we are, what level of consciousness we are thinking from, or what we're existing in, and what we're allowing really truly speaks volumes for us. And so these are moments and opportunities that, as our dear loved ones are so close to us, and as my grandmother, and I almost bought her picture in, I almost bought Pansy's picture in today and put it right there in my little altar. And I did like, no, I'd better not put Pansy on the camera today. And so I left Pansy in my bedroom on the frame. And I'm like, but they do special things. And so there's special times in our lives. There are times in our lives, there's, we're in seasons, we're in stages, we're in seasons, we're in experiences. And those experiences, what matters in those experiences are the choices, and where we are choosing to make our choices from. If we make them from our heart, if we observe our whole experience, if we check in with ourselves to make sure that we are the ones, we are in our own energy, and that it is us who is making our choice and decision, and not our fears or insecurities and other things, then we make the choices that align to our truth. And then we stay walking our path, knowing that our time comes, our day comes, and we don't have to chase any trickster energy. We don't have to let our ego, let our fears, let our insecurities run ahead of us, run us into the ground, run us into unhealthy places, or to let that trickster energy kind of fool us into thinking, I can take the fast track, I can get over here. Why would we want to miss the beauty of the journey? And there's so much beauty in the journey that it's like, I say thank you every day for the opportunity to live in this journey, to exist in this place, and to be present and to be here. Interesting story, is actually in contact with a dentist today, and you have a tooth fairy. See? So make your dentist visit like a magical little experience. That's all. That's all it is. Letting others into our lives truly enriches the experience. Yes, it does. And so that's the cards from the fairy deck. I will end with one of my own. Hello, 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 everyone. Ooh. Too many cards fell out. That definitely was not that wasn't a jumping card. That was a fall out of Corrie's hands card. So let's see. Love in the dark, Shyama. So, don't let our egos, don't let our shadow self, don't let our inner child stories, don't let the narratives of gaslighting triggers. Don't let yourself be fooled by the world full of shadows, right? And shadows appear very real, but there's a lot of illusions, a lot of mask, and we wear mask ourselves. And so Shyama, the love in the dark. And this card printed really dark because it's not the actual cards. This is just the old beta test cards. But there's another bird on her shoulder. So, here we have these birds. Here we have what looks like trees, but they look like trees, but they're not trees. They are shadows of trees. So the more we get caught in the narratives and the believing the stories, and the farther we get away from home, get away from ourselves, the more that we exist in our shadows and not in our truth, right? We're not in our truth. And so this true card represents, you're seeing her face, her hands are behind her back. She's hiding. Is she hiding something, or is she not? No, she's not hiding nothing, because her face is fully exposed. You're seeing her whole face. The bird on her shoulder is the messenger. It is the crow, the raven. It is the messenger that's coming in. And the one that's flying up here is another truth. Now there's another bird trying to land on the shadow, but all it's doing, it's landing on the ground, because it's not landing high on a tree, it's landing on the ground. And only when it hits the ground does it know that it's not a tree, right? And so that's us. Only when something is revealed to us do we know something to not to be true. So we can be very defensive. We can be very so protective of our truths, of what we believe to be true. There's of the way that we think we go, of one story, one narrative, and we can own that, claim it. But then one little detail comes in and it tells us another narrative. It tells us another story. And that's when a new truth comes. And then that means that everything that we thought was real, thought was true, then becomes a lie. And that was where my anger of yesterday came in, was that I had spent so much time getting to know, this beautiful spirit who came into me, and one narrative, one new story, one new truth had really truly meant that everything that I had been told was not true. And it was and I like to believe, I like to see the spirit, and I like to give people that benefit of doubt to everybody's story is real for them, until you start to realize it's not. So the stories that people tell that's their story. And so until we start to reveal new truths, until we start to open our eyes and we start to look deeper, we start to examine, we start to see things in a different way, in a different story. And so the anger wasn't directed directly at that person. It was in the fact that we feel that people really truly feel so unsafe that they're afraid to be themselves. And that is the saddest freaking thing ever, that we get so far away from home. We become so much that's not ourselves, because being picked on, being teased, being deceived, being manipulated, that we actually have to start to hide. We have to start be defensive, protective. We have to act stronger than we are. We have to be, rebels. We have to create all of that self because we feel so unsafe and so afraid to be ourselves because of, you know, emotional abuse, because of, bullying, and bullying comes right inside of a family house. You don't have to be outside of it. It happens if you go to bed not feeling safe because you're being laughed at, mimicked, mocked, teased, abused, those things, and then you wake up and it all starts over and over again. Your shell starts to form, your walls start to go up. Well, that then becomes the identity, and then little children turn into then grown adults that then are masking and hiding, and then also then having to numb. So then starting to numb because you don't even want to feel anymore. And so you're numb, you're not yourself, and it's the saddest thing in the world, because that's what my anger was yesterday, is that we have to hide. It's like, it wasn't that I was angry at a person. It's the fact that we ever felt that we should, that we feel so unsafe in the world, so afraid to be ourselves, that we become anything but ourselves, and we exist in the suffering. That is why I wrote More Than Existing way back when I started, because my statement was, I am done. I am done just existing. I'm done in this limited life. I'm done believing the narratives, the stories. I'm done torturing myself. I'm done making myself an enemy, right? Because that's the shadows. And then when we hit the ground, when we hit the floor, when we hit those low points, they are defining moments, right? Stop chasing the things stop trying to still please the people that don't matter. Stop trying to please that outside world and start honoring what needs to awaken within yourself, and let the rest of the stories die. Because the saddest thing in the world is that we feel as if we cannot be ourselves. Time for us to awaken to a new truth. Time for us to be allowed to be us. Which brings me to my second book, My Truth of Existing Beyond the Reflection. I hide for no one. Even my inability to be able to speak some days, I don't even hide that anymore. Those things are just, that's the imperfect perfection of who we become. And so whoever and whatever you are, know that you don't have to wear a mask. Start peeling back the mask. Start allowing yourself to know you're safe to peel back those layers. And yeah, get love angry. You're allowed to be love angry, that you start to have compassion for you, you feel for you, start to acknowledge you, and you start to know you are worth coming home to you. You are worth walking your way back to you. You are worth the journey. So I hope in some way that this message gets to you today and hits that heart of yours, and that inspires you. Please share. I think there's also stars, little buttons down the bottom that you can hit the star. And so that I can keep doing what I'm doing and being present here with you. The second book is out. Both books are on Amazon. You can go to Amazon. If you haven't yet got my books, go get my books, please. More Than Existing, and My Truth of Existing Beyond Reflection. these are the books. And so thank you all. And I hope you have a wonderful day. I'm going to go, and this is my costume for trick-or-treating with my grandchildren. um, so thank you all. I'm just reading the last comments here. Happy Hallows Eve, Lindsay. The Star Trek series. I love Star Trek. I mud pertaining to this message. Really? I got to go look it up again now. I got to go look that up. Our triggers are our greatest teacher. Yes, they are. Beautiful message. Thank you, Lisa. Christy. Happy Halloween to you too, Vera. Not pulling a card today, Vera. I just did that message. If you missed it, go back and listen to the message. It is a big message. I will be back. I'll come back and do a live. I'm sorry you missed the last one. I did call your name. Michelle and I were in here and we called your name. So, and Lisa, keep voting on the 40 fabulous. I'm in 5th place now, I think, wasn't it? I got a text saying I was in 5th place. So happy Halloween, everyone. Happy Samhain, and much, 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 much love. Have a beautiful day. I'll be back soon. And go to my YouTube channel. Go check out all the messages. I will be getting another new message out tomorrow for YouTube as well. But I'll be back again, Vera. The next time you'll be guaranteed to get your card. I promise you. Love you guys. See you soon. Bye-bye. And you can also still book with me personally. That's still available, and you can also purchase an emailed reading. Don't forget that. Much love. Bye-bye.